Burna Boy's full musical evolution, from his early days in Port Harcourt to becoming the African giant known worldwide. Burna Boy. From Port Harcourt to the world. The rise of the African giant. Roots and rhythms, early life and musical beginnings. Burna Boy, whose real name is Damini Agulu, was born on July 2, 1991, in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, Nigeria. He grew up in a middle-class home that quietly carried the rhythm of history. His grandfather, Benson Idenige, once managed the legendary Afrobeat pioneer Fela Kuti, while his mother, Balsel Agulu, worked as a translator and would later become his manager. From an early age, Damini absorbed sounds around him, the clatter of life in Port Harcourt, reggae playing on local radio, and his parents' collection of African and Caribbean records. He was particularly drawn to artists like Supercat, Bob Marley, and Fela. By the time he was a teenager, he was experimenting with beats using FL Studio on an old computer, crafting rough songs that combined reggae, dancehall, and Afrobeat. Music, however, wasn't his only path. His parents valued education. Burna Boy attended Corona Secondary School in Lagos before traveling to the United Kingdom to study media technology at the University of Sussex, and later media communications at Oxford Brookes University. But his heart was not in lectures and assignments. His mind was already on the stage, beats, and the energy of live performance. That restlessness would soon change his life forever. The rebel student, the decision to chase music. In the UK, Burna Boy felt misplaced. The structured education system didn't match his creative energy. He spent more time making music than studying. He attended parties, networked with fellow Nigerian students, and began experimenting with his early Afro-fusion sound, a blend of dancehall, reggae, and Afrobeat. His decision to leave school and return to Nigeria was met with confusion. To many, it seemed reckless, leaving a stable path for a risky dream. But to Burna, it was purpose. "I just knew I had to make music. I didn't see another way," he later said in interviews. Upon returning to Nigeria around 2010, he settled in Lagos, the country's bustling entertainment capital. He joined Aristocrat Records, a rising label at the time, and began working with producers like Lurie Q, who understood his experimental sound. For 2 years, he lived in small apartments, moving from studio to studio, trying to convince people that his new sound could work. Many didn't get it. They thought he was too foreign for the Nigerian market. But Burna Boy was building something new, something that would soon redefine Nigerian music. Like to Party, The Breakthrough, 2012 to 2013. In 2012, Burna Boy released Like to Party. It was fresh, groovy, and unlike anything on Nigerian radio at the time. The song quickly became a national anthem, and the video, filled with youthful energy, turned him into a household name. The success of Like to Party led to the release of his debut album IFE, Leaving an Impact for Eternity, in 2013. The album was a fusion of Afrobeat, dancehall, and pop, showcasing hits like Run My Race, Yawade, and Tonight. It sold over 40,000 copies on the first day and firmly positioned Burna Boy as one of Nigeria's most promising stars. But fame came with its challenges. Burna Boy had a bold personality and often clashed with industry norms. He refused to conform, insisting on making his type of music rather than chasing trends. This rebellious streak created friction with Aristocrat Records, leading to his departure in 2014. Still, Burna's hunger for authenticity and independence was unstoppable. The Spaceship Era, 2015 to 2017. In 2015, Burna Boy took a huge step. He founded his own record label, Spaceship Entertainment, later known as Spaceship Records. The move was risky but visionary. It gave him full creative control. That same year, he released his second album, On a Spaceship. Although it didn't achieve the same immediate commercial success as LIFE, it marked Burna's evolution. The album explored deeper themes: fame, love, and African pride. Songs like Samputi and Rizla revealed his emotional depth and musical experimentation. During this period, Burna's public image grew controversial. He faced legal issues and a short exile from the Nigerian stage, which affected his media presence. But rather than breaking him, those experiences refined his perspective. He began to understand the cost of greatness, and how to balance his talent with discipline. By 2017, Burna Boy was rebuilding. He released the Outside album, which became a turning point. Breaking Borders, Outside album, 2018. Released in January 2018, Outside catapulted Burna Boy into the international spotlight. It was a masterful blend of Afro-fusion and global sounds, featuring tracks like Ye, Heaven's Gate, and Streets of Africa. Ye became an anthem, not just in Nigeria, but across the world. The track's success skyrocketed after Kanye West coincidentally released an album titled Ye around the same time, causing thousands of listeners to discover Burna Boy's version. What began as coincidence turned into divine timing. Ye spoke to young Africans chasing dreams amid challenges, and it became a symbol of pride. Burna Boy's stage performances also matured. He began performing in Europe, the US, and major African festivals. His artistry, raw, expressive, and deeply African, began gaining global recognition. That year, he won the BET Best International Act Award, solidifying his growing dominance. African Giant, 2019. 2019 marked the year Burna Boy became the face of a movement. His fourth studio album, African Giant, was a declaration of confidence, pride, and artistic maturity. The album featured hits like Anybody, Bona, On the Low, and Dangote. Its fusion of Afrobeat, highlife, and reggae resonated worldwide. Burna Boy didn't just make music. He carried Africa's story to global stages. He performed on The Daily Show with Trevor Noah, at Coachella, and across major arenas. When organizers wrote his name in small letters on the Coachella poster, Burna Boy publicly demanded respect, calling himself an African giant. The nickname stuck and became the album's title. The project earned him a Grammy nomination for Best World Music Album, introducing him to audiences in America and Europe who had never heard Afrobeats before. The African Giant had arrived. Twice as tall, 2020 to 2021. In 2020, as the world battled the COVID-19 pandemic, Burna Boy returned with another groundbreaking album, Twice as Tall. The album was partly executive produced by Sean Diddy Combs, blending Nigerian rhythm with global production. Twice as Tall carried powerful messages about identity, success, and struggle. Songs like Monsters You Made and 23 reflected social consciousness, while Way Too Big celebrated self-assurance. In March 2021, the album won the Grammy Award for Best Global Music Album, making Burna Boy the first Nigerian solo artist to win a Grammy for a personal project. That moment changed everything. Burna Boy wasn't just a Nigerian success story, he became a symbol of African excellence. Love, Domini, 2022. In July 2022, Burna Boy released Love, Domini. The album was introspective, softer, emotional, and deeply personal. Named after his birth name, it explored themes of love, pain, and fame. It featured global collaborations with Ed Sheeran, J Balvin, Khalid, and Popcorn. Songs like Last Last became instant classics, dominating charts globally. Last Last was Burna Boy's most personal confession, a heartbreak anthem that blended Yoruba proverbs with Western emotion. The album debuted on the Billboard 200, marking the highest-charting Nigerian album in history at that time. Burna Boy also embarked on a global tour, performing in sold-out arenas including Madison Square Garden, becoming the first Nigerian artist to headline and sell out MSG in New York. Love, Domini, proved Burna Boy had not just fame, but longevity. The Legacy of an African Giant, 2023 to 2024. By 2023, Burna Boy had become one of the world's most recognizable African artists. His influence extended beyond music. He had become a cultural ambassador. He spoke boldly about African pride, self-reliance, and unity. He consistently used his platform to discuss colonial history, black identity, and youth empowerment. Musically, he continued to dominate, performing at the UEFA Champions League final, collaborating with global stars, and maintaining his signature authenticity. Even with fame, Burna Boy's relationship with the Nigerian media and fans remained complex. He was admired for his talent but sometimes criticized for his outspoken nature. Still, he stayed true to himself, honest, defiant, and original. Still standing tall, 2025 and beyond. Today, Burna Boy stands as one of the greatest African musicians of all time. From Port Harcourt studios to the world's biggest stages, his story embodies persistence, courage, and self-belief. He has redefined Afrobeats, evolving it into Afro-fusion, a genre that reflects the modern African spirit, global, confident, and rooted in heritage. As of 2025, Burna Boy continues to headline world tours, top international charts, and inspire the next generation of African creatives. His mother, Balsel Ogulu, still his manager, remains his closest ally, and together they have built one of Africa's most powerful musical brands. His message remains clear: Africa is not just a continent, it is a sound, a rhythm, and a story that the world can no longer ignore. And for Burna Boy, the journey continues.